Purutran has been arrested for allegedly killing an Indian immigrant engineer and wounding 2 others at a crowded sports bar. Adam Purutran, accused of killing Srinivas Kuchibotla and wounding his co-worker at Garmin, Alok Madasani. The accused was arrested in Missouri after he told a bartender that he had shot 2 Middle Eastern men and needed a place to hide. The third man, Ian Grillett, was also shot when he tried to stop the gunman at the Austin Bar and Grill in Olathe, Kansas. Well, Kuchibotla and Madasani were both of Indian descent, working as engineers at GPS maker Garmin International in Olathe. External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj has condemned the United States shootout incident. Taking to Twitter, she wrote, "I am shocked at the shooting in Kansas in which Srinivas Kuchibotla has been killed. My heartfelt condolences to the bereaved family." Unquote.
कल दोपहर मेरा तीसरा भाई यूएस में रहता है. He has called me up at around 11 o'clock in the morning, saying that he has been shot. Then one of his friend has confirmed at around 12:31 p.m. that he is no more. As of now, what I'm seeing in the media is the only base which I can say, that a person has done some racist remarks saying that get out of my country, and my brother and his friend were only the persons whom he was targeting. It was whom he wanted to attack them in that crowded bar.
I was just doing what anyone should have done for another human being. It's not about where he's from or his ethnicity. We're all humans. So I just felt I did what was naturally right to do. I was hit in the hand and the chest because initially I'd gotten under the table when he first started firing. Thought I heard 9 shots, expected his magazine to be empty. So I got up and proceeded to chase him down. Try to subdue him so that way the police could come in and do what they needed to do. And I guess I miscounted and with everything going on, and I got behind him and he turned around and fired around at me.
You know, I might defer to the district attorney as well, since at this point we are in a charging stage to really cover the rules.
You know, as far as the motivation of this case and the facts surrounding it, you got to remember we're less than 24 hours in. There are investigators currently going out and still interviewing people. And so what we want to do is we want to be able to be sure of our facts versus speculation. And so we're not prepared at this point to talk about the particular facts of the case because this is still very fresh. There's a lot of people working the street. And quite frankly, it would be unethical for me to go into a lot of details based on Kansas law to discuss those details.
Yes, so the Garmin associates that were involved in the incident were members of our aviation team. You know, I don't know the extent of their positions here, but can confirm that they're a part of the Garmin family and part of the aviation team, which is a very important part of the business here at Garmin. Yeah, Matt, as we were talking before, I don't personally know these gentlemen that were involved in the Austin incident last night, but to the extent that Garmin is a big company but a big family, when somebody suffers, we all suffer. So it's a time that, out of respect for the family, we really don't have any comment to make.
Geeta Mohan, Foreign Affairs Editor, is joining us live now from Delhi. Geeta, what is the reaction coming in from the MEA as the MEA showed action against this hate crime?
It is a serious concern. The bigger issue about hate crime, FBI has intervened now and is looking into the entire matter, investigating whether if it is a hate crime or not with the Olathe Police Department in Kansas City. These are disturbing news that now come from the United States of that now come from the United States of America. It's not the first time. We know that these attacks have happened in the past as well, but a killing. And in the recent past, one of the most dastardly attacks on Indians would be this one particular incident. And it is certainly a prima facie looks like a hate crime, given that the man had gone to another bar and sought refuge over there, saying that He had killed 2 Middle Eastern people. He's a US veteran, which means that he most probably would have served in one of those countries. The reason why we see such hatred against the Middle Easterns. But nonetheless, it is not about where the people were from. They are of Indian origin, but certainly it has to do with race and the white supremacist ideology that this man had really come with in order to kill those who are not white, who are not from the United States of America, furthering the kind of policies and the kind of narrative and discourse that we hear in the United States of America.
Right. Geeta, stay with us. We're getting some international reports also about this incident. Let's play it out.
A heavy police presence in this typically quiet Olathe neighborhood is where neighbors say triple shooting suspect Adam Purinton has lived for almost 20 years.
I never seen him really get angry.
Richard Morris lives next door to Purinton. Morris says Purinton, a 51-year-old Navy veteran, lives alone in this 2-story house.
Just quiet and kind of reclusive. The last couple of years since his father died, you didn't see him much. He just kind of stayed by himself.
Another neighbor tells Fox 4 Purinton owned several guns and had a battle with alcohol. A look into Purinton's record reveals in 1999 and 2008, he received speeding tickets in Johnson County. A 1999 DUI ticket Purinton got, also in Johnson County, was dismissed. Back in Purinton's neighborhood today, several detectives knocked on doors, talked to neighbors, and showed many of them a picture of the man now charged with killing one person and shooting 2 others inside a popular restaurant and bar.
A little scared that it was so close to us, so close to home.
Olathe Northwest High School teacher Jennifer Wellborn lives about a block away from the murder suspect's house.
We go to Austin's, we have kids, it's a family place, we enjoy it. You obviously never expect something like that to happen in your neighborhood.
Right. And Geeta, what's going to be the impact of this hate crime on the Indian diaspora there?
There's a huge diaspora. The immigrants and most of them from various other countries also have been very worried and fear what the future holds for them in the United States of America, given the policies with regards to immigrants, the policies with regards to people going to US and working over there is changing. And Donald Trump, the president of the United States of America, has made that very clear. So there are fears, but all has to be done within the laws of the land. Now, for somebody, a man like this US veteran to have come and taken laws into his own hands and thought it fits to go ahead on a killing spree is what worries people and the authorities now in the United States of America. If there's a policy change, then legally the immigrants would have to go back. The ones who are working there would have to go back if they're not citizens of the United States of America. But it's the rise in hate crime which is a bigger concern today than the fact that there are policy changes that could happen and that are taking place in the Trump administration.
Right, Geeta, stay with us. In fact, we want to play out an interview now that we've done with Manish Sisodia, our senior Congress leader.
I see it at 2 different levels. At one level, it is a crazed individual who is expressing his own deep anxieties, his own deep prejudices. And therefore, one should not, I think, use this as an example to say that there is general or widespread racial hatred in the United States against Indians. I don't think that would be correct to do. At the same time, there is no denying that a head of government or a head of state can create an ethos in which such crimes take place. And I'm afraid ever since President Trump came to the head of a state as in the United States, indeed from his very inaugural speech, there is an ethos being created in the United States which distinguishes between those who in Trump's eyes have an unvarnished right to be American and call themselves American, and a whole host of others. And it so happens that that whole host of others tend to be colored and tend to be of the Muslim faith. So when such an ethos is created, then such incidents do take place. A bit like India, where with the arrival of Modi and the BJP at the peak of power, even if they themselves don't hurl racial abuses or take out a gun to shoot an individual, the ethos that they promote in the country leads to violence against our minorities. So, at the moment, I think, in his behavior in the last 2 months, President Trump is something of a clone of Prime Minister Modi, and both should desist from it. I think that is the larger lesson to be learned.
Right. Let's go back to Geeta Mohan, who is still live with us. Geeta, will the talks be taken up at ministerial level, as this is not the first time that Indians living in the United States have faced such a hate crime?
In the past, the fact that there were problems that Indian students had faced with fake universities had been taken up at the ministerial level between the External Affairs Minister and Secretary of State during the strategic dialogue between the two countries. Certainly, similarly, when cases of hate crime or crime against Indians in the United States of America had occurred in the past, it was taken up not just at the ministerial level, but at the highest levels where India had raised concerns regarding safety of Indians in the US. And similarly, given that an Indian has been killed, not just attacked, mobbed, or beaten up, but killed, it is going to be a matter of conversation between the two countries. External Affairs Minister and the Ministry of External Affairs, in all its conversations with the United States of America, will be raising concerns regarding security of Indians, regarding the hate crime or crime against a certain race that India has experienced or Indians have experienced in the United States of America, will be a part of the discourse between the officials of India and the United States of America. We do not really know whether Prime Minister Narendra Modi particularly will take it up with Donald Trump when they meet. It could be before the G20 if Prime Minister Narendra Modi visits the United States of America, which is speculative right now, but also surely on the sidelines of the G20 summit when the two leaders meet, there are going to be a lot of areas that would be discussed, but we do not know specifically whether this incident of hate crime will be spoken of, but concerns regarding India to do with US's changes in its policies are areas of discussion between the two countries at the highest level.
All right, thanks very much, Geeta, for joining us with all those details. Meanwhile, more reactions coming in.
I think it should be strong. It should be treated as a very strong message to the world community, to the Indian community, that there are people even in India who celebrated Trump's victory. Look what Trump means. I think my government would take up steps which ensures the safety and security of our citizens living there in US, number one. Number two, we also need to build a kind of movement against xenophobia everywhere, anywhere. I think that is what is needed as of now. Otherwise, I think we'll lose the entire narrative of what we say the world community.
A hate crime is described as a criminal act which has been committed on the basis of bias on race, religion, ethnicity, sexual orientation, and so on. So, and if it is classified as a hate crime, it can be prosecuted as a federal crime, not just subject to the state laws. So that makes it that makes the investigation more seriously focused. So we hope that is the course that will be pursued. But we can only see how the law takes its course.
Trump is the number one racist of the world. And those supporters of Trump in India, they will get disappointed when the lakhs and the lakhs of the boys and the girls, they will lose their job after some time. He is coming to India. His counterpart in India, Mr. Narendra Modi, now he must talk to him in a free and frank way.
Let's in fact listen in now to some of Donald Trump's racist remarks and what students had to say on Trump's entire immigration policy.
No, he wasn't wearing one of those hats, was he? Was he wearing one of those hats? And he never will. And he never will. And he never will. And that's okay. But, you know, we got to do something, folks, because it's not working.